Hello everybody, this is Shane Lee from Shane Lee Ministries. It's Friday, January 2nd, 2009. I hope everybody had a happy New Year's Eve and a happy New Year's, and that you made it through another year. I want to talk to you a little about the rapture and what I think might could happen in the future. Now, according to the story about Abraham and the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, if God found 10 righteous people in the city, he couldn't allow Satan to destroy the city. God is not good and evil. In other words, God is not, saying he loves us and bringing judgments upon us. It's Satan who's good and evil. Now, in the book of Genesis, when man sinned with Satan, God said, the man has become as one of us to know good and evil. Now, when Satan tempted Eve to sin, he told Eve that she would be like the Elohim, the gods, knowing good and evil. Well, the thing is, none of the gods had yet known good and evil. That was his lie, that the gods were good and evil. What it was is that God, the sovereign reigner, the sovereign creator of the universe, is loving us unconditionally. What that means is, since love keeps no record of wrong, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, that when you sin, love doesn't acknowledge the sin. It instead forgives you without you even having to ask. And that's the whole point. Good and evil teaches you judgment and condemnation and punishment for sin. Unconditional love don't teach you that. Now, the only thing that can bring down a judgment upon the world is if somehow the beast and his cohorts use neutron bombs and nuclear war and nuclear bombs to bomb the free world. I don't think the church will be raptured out until the beast makes that kind of a move. Because up until this point, God is using the church to win the lost. And will keep us here as long as he can. It's like with Israel. Israel never left Egypt when the angel of death came upon them. They were just in a different part and did the ceremony of the Passover and put the lamb's blood upon the door. Now, there's several doors in the Jewish Bible. One of the doors is the heart. Another door is the womb. And the vaginal canal. That's the door as well. That's how we enter into the earth. That's why the Messiah had to be born of a virgin or a woman who knew no man. Now, there are two witnesses for us about the love of God: the Old Testament and the New Testament. Now, under the Old Testament, judgment went along with disobedience. You had a blessing and a curse. For a blessing for following the covenant, and a curse for not following the covenant. That is because the blood used in the Old Testament was the blood of animals, which cannot redeem fully human beings. But the blood of the New Testament is the blood of Jesus Christ. This blood can redeem. This blood can heal. This blood can bring about a change in your heart. Jesus said, I stand at the door and knock. If any man open the door, I will come in and sup with him. That also includes women. Because Jesus, being a true hermaphrodite, died for the male and the female. Now, the first image God made was a combination or supernatural image of the male and the female, androgynous, meaning it had both male and female reproductive organs. That's how God was able to take the woman out of the man and make her in her own body by removing bone and flesh. The bone was the rib. The flesh was the female reproductive organs, which once God removed, made the male become masculine, and he used these parts to make the female body, also with the dust of the earth as well. And that's how he made us male and female. He used a combination of dust, organs, and bone to make the woman. Now both the man and woman were changed from the image of God into the image of male and female. Again, Adam brought forth a son in his image after his likeness, and Eve brought forth a daughter after her image and her likeness. And from that point on, men started making idols of themselves or gods of themselves. Now, men, no matter how creative you are, no matter how imaginative, we're not God. We're not loving unconditionally like God. We're not being like God. We're being like Satan because of the sin in Eden being a sexual sin. That means all the children born after the sin in Eden are under the curse of Satan. No matter who you are, no matter how righteous you are, you can't be saved by good works alone. You have to have unconditional love and mercy behind them. Now that don't mean you have to be wimps or, let everybody push you around all the time either. The point is, whatever you do, you have to do by your knowledge of Jesus Christ. Now, if somebody strikes you on the cheek, turn to them the other cheek. But if they strike you on the other cheek, what do you do then? Jesus only said what to do if someone strikes you on one cheek. He didn't say you couldn't defend yourself at all. Now, if the beast uses neutron bomb technology, which will attack living matter, but not non-living matter, what the neutron bomb does is it attacks animated life. So any person in its blast range can be affected by it. Now, if the beast strategically neutron bombs America, then that'll appear like the Rapture. And that's the whole point. But no matter what happens, God will rapture the Christians into heaven, because to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So it's the Christians being righteous that saves the unrighteous. It's the just saving the unjust, not the unjust the just. And it's because of the just and the righteous that God can't destroy us. Now, whenever this goes down, we have to be prepared either way. Because it could be the beast using neutron bombs, or it could be the actual rapture of the church, which we don't know. But the longer it drags out, the more it looks like it could be a weapon of mass destruction that the beast uses to get rid of the true believers. Because, you know, if Jesus is coming back for the church, either it's not time for the tribulation period yet, which is another possibility, or it's done, or it's not happening yet. The beast is waiting for something. So whatever he's waiting for, you know, we gotta wait too and be faithful in the Lord.